Yes, thank you very much for joining us on 89.7 Contact FM, and thank you for tuning in to One on One. My name is Moses Mekenye, standing in for Eugene Anangwe. Now, today we are privileged to have a very special guest in our show. We have Jean Niotwajira, the CEO of TorQue Limited. He's a very young innovator, and he has done big things in the ICT industry. Thank you very much, and welcome and be part of the show, Jean.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Okay, now we'll be talking about a few issues on the ICT industry, and also at large you'll be speaking about the innovation in a youth. So before Jean we get into the show, because we have very limited time, I just take you through very simple statistics concerning the ICT industry in Rwanda. In the last 15 years, we see that Rwanda has made very tremendous steps in the ICT industry. When we look at phone penetration, Rwanda has reached right now 70%. That's twice the percentage of the continent's average. And also when we look at the side of internet penetration, Rwanda now stands at 22%. And also we're looking at the contribution of ICT to the general GDP. It's at 45. It's at 2%. Sorry for that. It's at 2%. And when we look at such figures, experts get to tell us that for Rwanda's move towards an ICT and knowledge-driven economy by the year 2020. It's up to the young innovators, the likes of you, Jean, that have to be very creative and come up with ideas that are going to push this industry to higher levels. So, Jean, you are young CEO at the age of 29. You are CEO, the owner and CEO of TorQue Limited. How did the journey begin, Jean?
Thank you very much for that question. This is a really, when I trace back where this started, it's a really long time ago. But thinking of actually creating something that could impact people's lives came like when I realized that I have more than enough skills that I could put to use. So I decided I needed to create something that I really wanted, and I needed to become someone. In the process, I realized that I could not become someone without the help of other people.
So basically, before even going into what to do, okay, tell us something very small. What does your company deal in?
Well, I'm running a startup company called TorQue Limited, and we create software for small and medium enterprises. We started with only one product that is on the market today. It is an online distribution channel management for wholesale distributors.
And okay, now you created the software. How far has your software, been adopted into the market?
With the market that we estimate to have, I can tell everyone that we barely scratched the market. The software still have a long way to go, but we have sold it to quite a number of big organizations who are relying on this software on their everyday activities, and it is growing very fast.
And was it your own creation, or you had people behind the idea? Was it just a sole creation or something?
I started alone because I possessed these computer programming skills. But as I told you, along the way, that's where I realized that I needed people on the team to actually create a real company. So that's how I started selling this idea to the people whom I thought they could buy into this vision. And today, TorQue itself is as a core team, we are 5 people.
And the TorQue Limited Rwanda, the journey began when? When did you establish the company? When did you come up with the thought of starting up a company? And what really motivated you as a young person to start up the company?
Well, the company started almost 2 years ago, and I was motivated mostly because I could see resources on my hand. Caleb was starting. I hope you know Caleb.
Yeah, I know Caleb.
Caleb was starting, and was putting in my possession real great resources that I couldn't believe that was happening. So I had access to free internet for almost 2 years, internet to free office space, and great mentors. Through that, it really accelerated my time into creating this product and taking it on the market as soon as we could.
I understand, I'm not an ICT person, but I understand, to create a softwares are created to solve problems, if I'm right.
Yes, you are right.
So you created this software. You've said it's a software that helps, break down the channel of distribution.
Yes.
So you've not really told me, did you do a research? Did you see a problem out there that you need to solve or something?
I can tell you frankly saying that this software started as a way for me to feel like I needed to survive. And of course, you have to learn a lot of things in the process of this survival instinct that you have. So if everyone says to create software, you need to pass through this and this, you have to test it, but you have to do it yourself. In that journey, what I had to do, and what I had to teach my team, was that we needed to listen to people. We needed to listen to the market instead of us sitting around and saying, if we create it, they are going to buy it. So that's how we managed to help people, help these businesses, because we could feel their pain. In feeling their pain and trying to come up with a solution, we also became famous in the market.
In maybe around 20 seconds, could you just break down how the software works? Because maybe there is somebody out there who needs to know. Maybe you could adapt your software, something like that. How does it break down the distribution channel?
Yes. So maybe many people don't know what wholesale distributors are. They are people who get supplied by a top company, such as a supplier, and they distribute their product to different other warehouses. So we created a software system that could sit in one of these warehouses and control the rest, the whole channel from the main warehouse to where the product gets distributed and to who gets to buy as a final consumer. And again, it could also go up and control where the supply comes from. So I can say it helps people to record sales transactions to each one of their selling warehouses, and it control how the stock is flowing. And at the end of the day, it can give you instant report that people could take weeks and weeks generating. This software can do that in an instant.
When I look at your age, it makes me ask myself some questions. Apart from your company, the company that you own, have you ever worked anywhere before after college, that is?
Well, I've co-founded another company, but I've never worked for someone.
You co-founded another company.
Yes.
You never worked for a salary or something like that.
I've never had a boss. So and not because I didn't want to have a boss, but simply because I felt like I don't belong there. I belonged into this area where I could come up with something of my own and create a great workspace and have people actually work in an environment that I feel very comfortable. And I know that there are so many other people like me who would want to work in a great workspace. So that's how the motivation of working on having this company, creating this company came by.
Okay, now, I'll still maintain that, because, when you look out the genre, there are very many young people your age or maybe lesser your age. They're done with, high school and they're done with college, and they are still seeking for jobs. Yes. What I'm looking at is the innovation part of it, because the challenge we have right now in the rural community, in the society, unemployment to the youth is a very, very big challenge. Not only to the youth who have not gone to school, who don't have the education, but also to the youth who've gone through an education system, finished campus, and now they're back into community and they're jobless.
Yeah.
What could you comment on that?
Well,
about innovation, that is.
I think some people could tell you that entrepreneurship, such as what we do, is not something for everyone. But I think people wants to be very comfortable, and that's how they end up doing what other people said they work. It's really a matter of stepping out of your comfort zone and deciding to be someone different. If everyone is looking for a job, that's why everyone else who is finishing school is also applying for a job. But if people took time, I am addressing the young people who are claiming not to have jobs. If they were willing to really say, what am I good at? Where can I apply it? There is a saying, and I like to say this, instead of being an average person somewhere in a great town, it's better you go up country and you become the top person up country.
Wow, so. Very, very interesting, I must say. You write for me that down after the show.
I will.
Yeah, just keep on.
So that's what we did. I know for some people who probably knew me from KIST, some people could say I was a geek and I could maybe create great stuff and everything. So no one could really think that I belonged to a community such as Scale Up. But inside of me, I thought I had found a really great place for me to excel. So it's simply because I decided I don't want to work for someone. I don't want to work for a startup that is not supporting the ideas that I have. So I had to take a really huge risk, to risk everything. But I knew from within that with time it was going to work out, and thank God it really worked well.
It's very interesting that you're mentioning that you never had, that urge to work for somebody for a salary. It's interesting because you own a company. You've employed people, I'm very sure, to work for you or with you.
Yes.
So do you co-own this company, or you've just employed them to work for you? And were they your, a former schoolmates or stuff like that?
So I own the biggest slice of the pie of the company. But today, given that the company is growing, we are giving some shares away to actually be a big company and become a part of it.
That's interesting. So you're already selling shares on your company?
We are selling shares on the company. So far, we have 10% of the company released to outsiders, people coming for investment.
And, looking at what you do in software creation, you've told me so far you have one software.
Yes.
How big do you see yourself expanding in future?
Well, although we say it's only one software, but this software is pretty big because it is solving a problem that exists everywhere. I can say everywhere in Africa. Distribution channels are really everywhere. And because it's what I do, I think it's the coolest thing that is the next big thing that could really happen.
Right now, are you only doing it locally, or you're looking at maybe spreading your wings outside the borders with what you're doing in your company?
Well, it became very easy to keep setting up new people in Rwanda. So I feel like the biggest the biggest investment now is going to focus on branching out of the country. We've managed to do market research in Burundi, market research in Congo Brazzaville, and quite other countries, and we've managed to get pretty big partners that can help us to grow into Africa. So today I'm very confident that this product is not going to stay in Rwanda only. It's going to work on an international level.
But I'll take you back again to this jobless youth. If you face one of these youths out there, the reason they'll give you for their case, maybe one of the reasons they always give us is, I have a skill that I could use to enrich myself. But at the end of the day, the entrepreneurial thinking is very good, yeah. But we can do the entrepreneurial thinking minus some startup capital. That is a challenge for most of the youth out there. How did you break out of that?
Well, there is something that I had to know right before I started. No one was going to give me money if I can't show them where to put that money and where to go and wait for that money. No one wants to come and spray money here and say, okay, use it, and later maybe you can give it back. Everyone wants to know exactly how you're going to use their money. And that's what I've been doing. I was not rushing because I knew sooner or later if a great investor comes in the country, they will be coming looking at me because I already have something that can, a system in place that can show them the input is here for your money and the output is, I can show exactly where the output is. And that's what we managed to do. And that's why probably we're trying to become very attractive to investors.
So basically, if I could, I use your own words, what you're trying to say is, during the startup part of it, yes. Can I call it a loan or something? Did you get a loan or something? Is that what you're saying?
I did not really get a loan.
Because you're saying somebody put money into your business.
I mean, if someone had to put money, you have to show exactly where that money is coming. And where that money is going and how they are going to collect that money in the end. So I'm saying that at this stage, for the last 2 years, it's mostly what we've been trying to do. We've been trying to prove the concept on the market. And today we are becoming that attractive to investors because at least if I'm sitting with such a person, they know exactly where to put money and where to collect and how much they can collect.
Because the fact of you mentioning that you went through KIST.
Yes.
Every year KIST is releasing, and like any other like university or higher institution that is training these young individuals on ICT and technology.
Yes.
And there are so many coming out here that the job market cannot absorb all of them.
Yes.
So, such individuals, what's your word to them?
Well, my word is, as I said already, it's very important to know where you excel, because you immediately know where you belong. I don't, as I keep mentioning that I did not work for anyone. I'm not saying that everyone should not work for someone. I'm just saying if you feel like working for someone is not going to make you realize your dreams, why bother? You have to, while you are at school, you still have time to experiment, to try so many things. So, in my own example, I started this company right before I even finished school. So this immediately say when I was in KIST, I was always trying new things until I found this thing that I could do, and which actually turned to be what I really loved to do.
Wow, very, very interesting. Almost to the end of the show now. Tell me one last thing. A young individual with the title of a CEO at a very young age.
Yes.
Is Jean married, or we sing, wedding bells or something like that? Does he have a family, or is just this bachelor, Tell us something about that.
I'm a free agent.
Hope they're listening out there. He's a free agent. Interested the ladies out there. Maybe they know there is a Jean somewhere who needs company. Okay, now our listeners, I love to say thank you for tuning in to Contact FM 89.7. And we're coming to the end of the show because news is coming up. So we really appreciate so much Jean for being a guest on our show. And don't miss to tune in tomorrow, same time, same place. My name is Moses Mekenye. See you then.